to this China Petals how-to video for the Little Robin Mosaic Kit. This video is intended to run alongside the written instructions included in the kit, and some of the processes may have been sped up for time. What I recommend is that you watch, pause and rewind if you need to. Have fun!
Start by emptying the little bag of tiles onto a small tray or inside the kit box. Check the corners of the bag, just make sure nothing gets left behind. It's a good idea to wipe the edges of the MDF shape with a damp cloth before you start, just to get rid of any residue left behind from the laser cutting process. Pull the square tiles from the netting. This should be quite easy to do, but if you do struggle, you can always use a pair of scissors and cut the tiles around the netting. Find the little gold petal shaped tile and stick that down as you speak. You can either place the glue directly onto the MDF shape or onto the back of the tile, it doesn't matter. Press the tile down firmly to create a bond between the tile and the MDF. I'm placing a line of glue from the little hanging hole to the birdie's beak, and then I'm going to press into the glue 5 round squares. I sped up this process just for time. Use the little orange stick included in the kit just to nudge the tiles into place. Next, I'm just drawing a little line of glue for 4 brown tiles. So I've not gone all the way to the end, because the end, that's where I want the tail feathers to go. Just make sure you press them down into the glue to get that bond. Now we're going to make the tail feathers, so that's 2 large brown feather shapes and 1 small brown feather shape. So these will hang over the edge, that's fine, as long as you've got at least half onto the shape, onto the MDF, that will be fine. So sticking the large brown ones in a V shape, and then the little brown one will sneak in between just to complete the tail feathers. We're now going to do his tummy, so I'm just going to draw a line of glue halfway, and then I'm going to put in 7 brown tiles, square tiles, around from the tail feathers to his tummy. I've just sped the video up here a little bit just for time. You just have 1 brown tile left, which goes up underneath the birdie's chin, and then we make his red breast with 6 red square tiles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just nudge them around a little bit to get the last one in. A bit more glue. There we are, number 6. So just check your spacing and press down to form that bond. So give the robin his eye using the black round shiny tile, and it just fits in nicely there in his head. We're going to fill out the robin's red breast with 3 petal shape or feather shape tiles, and they just go at the bottom there, and then the 3rd one on the top. Stick those down with the glue and press firmly to create that bond. The last thing we need to do is just fill in the remaining space with the feathers. So this is a bit of free rein. They don't have to be in any particular place, but I usually do it a little bit at a time, make sure that I'm happy, place them down dry, and then lift them up and then put the glue on the back. So no right and no wrong this way. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit for time, but you take your time where you want to place your tiles. You'll probably notice that the browns are different shades, and I quite like that because it gives the bird a bit of extra personality. Once you've stuck all your tiles down, just check the placement, make sure that you're happy, make sure that they're all stuck to the MDF board, and then leave them overnight to dry. Doesn't he look cute? Really nice, I like him a lot. So next day, grouting. You will need your grout, the mixing stick, a little yoghurt pot or something to mix the grout in, a pair of gloves, the nudging stick that we've used today, some water and a teaspoon, and something to cover the work surface. So take your powdered grout and pour half of it into the container. I'm going to add 3 teaspoons worth of water into the powder and give it a stir with a mixing stick. This isn't enough water at this stage to get the consistency that I'm after, but I like to add my powder and water bit by bit. That way I've got control over the texture of the grout. So just mix it gently. You don't want the powder to puff up, and then be very patient when you're mixing it. I'm going to speed this up a little bit just for time, but I've added grout powder and a little bit of water, grout powder, a little bit of water, and I'm looking for a cream cheese, toothpaste, peanut butter type consistency, but I'm just adding a few drops of water at a time. Yeah, I think that's it. That looks like the consistency that I'm after. So once you've mixed your grout to that consistency, you need to let it sit for a minute, just to slake, and that allows the chemicals in the grout to start working their magic. So the grout sat for a minute now. So to grout the birdie, you just pick up a big dollop of grout and put it in the middle, and using the mixing stick, just butter it like you would do a piece of toast, squishing the grout into all the gaps. Got plenty of grout there. And then you pick the birdie up, and then with your hands sculpt around the edges, making sure that all the edges have got grout in them. Go around his beak. It's okay to fill in the hanging hole as well at this stage. Don't try and keep that free at the moment, we'll deal with that later. Go around his head and around his tail feathers, see if you can get in between the little feathers as well. That's it, just sculpt the edges, and you're leaving a generous amount on top at this stage as well. Now he's well covered in grout and all the edges are done. We're going to let him sit for 10 to 15 minutes, waiting for the grout to start to dry on the tops of the tiles and go what I call cakey. So we'll come back to him in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Try and wipe off as much as you can of the grout from your gloves and everything, because you want to use your gloves later. So I just try and get rid of as much grout as I can from the fingers. And I'm just using this damp rag as well, just to try and get some off. So the bird's been sat for about 15 minutes. So I'm just now removing the grout from the tops of the tiles with the side of my thumb. I'm just removing it gently from the tops and not from in between the tiles. Take your time doing this, you don't want to rush the process, and this is one of my favourite bits of grouting anyway, so I'm quite happy to take my time. You can start to see the tiles shine through the grout as you rub little bit by little bit, and this helps smooth out the grout as well in between, so you're not rubbing it out from the gaps, you're just smoothing it. Use the little orange stick that we had yesterday to rub off the grout on the sides of the shape. Perfect tool for that. Don't forget to use the stick to rub off any grout from the back of the shape as well. Now it's time to do the little hanging hole. So with your orange stick, just find where the hole is and then push the stick through, and that should remove the grout. So you push through from the front and then you can dig out any excess from the back. If you try and poke your hole through too soon, the grout will collapse on itself. So it's easy to do it now when the grout is a little bit drier. Just wiping the sides here with a damp piece of tissue, just to get rid of any excess grout, and just go around the sides as well. You can see that my paper is got brown streaks on it. That's because I didn't wipe the robin before I started tiling. So all done. You just need to leave him to cure for 24 hours before you put the ribbon on and put him on display. You can paint the back, glitter the back, write a message on the back. The only thing is he's not for outdoor display because of the materials that we've used to make him.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed making your little robin. Until next time, happy mosaicing!